Christopher Ross is the National Chair of Assist FM, the facilities management organisation that represents all 32 Scottish local authorities, delivering school meals and catering services to care settings and civic buildings. In his day job, he is Senior Operations Manager at City of Edinburgh Council, where he heads an in-house catering department that manages 95 education sites as well as several commercial buildings, delivering 22,000 meals a day. He is also one of public sector catering's most influential people, and I'm delighted to say that he's been able to join us today to talk about the state of the catering industry from his perspective. Hello, Chris.
Hi, David. Lovely to be with you.
Right, we'll get straight on now. From your point of view, what are the biggest challenges facing local authority caterers?
David, I think many of these challenges have been covered across other videos in this series, but I think for us there's a few challenges plus areas of opportunity, probably touching upon the first one, which is the universal free school meal rollout within Scotland, which is planned for 2026. So you'll be aware that we are delivering meals up to primary 5 in Scotland at the moment, with following further primary years to follow. So that in itself is a challenge, a huge logistical challenge around planning across all 32 local authorities for both the capital and revenue infrastructure that's required to deliver those school meals by 2026. The good thing is we've got a good lead time, to do plenty of planning. We have a good relationship with the Scottish Government to work towards it, but no doubt with the pressures that we're seeing within our supply chain and probably also through the recruitment market, that long lead in is extremely necessary for us to have the resource in place ready for go live. I think, like others from the Public Sector Catering Alliance have mentioned, recruitment and retention remains a huge challenge across all local authorities, right from inner city local authorities like Edinburgh and Glasgow, right out to the more rural and remote councils who have an equally large challenge in that they may have only, a small island with a population of 100 and trying to encourage people to stay within work or to choose catering as a job of choice remains a real challenge. Local authorities as well overall are faced with real-time budget cuts. All 32 local authorities are looking to make efficiency savings or budget cuts. And where we're seeing, food inflation as it is, where we're seeing the market in terms of recruitment and paying the correct wage as it is, the realism for local authority service providers across the board, all FM services, is that these cuts are very detrimental to our services, and we're not sure about how we're going to actually achieve those. And finally, probably a more localised to Scotland at the moment, deposit return scheme. We know that is planned for August. At the moment, specifically, more especially, within our school estate, we are still lacking the answers that we need to really implement the deposit return scheme successfully within education settings. So we've got quite a number of challenges at the moment, but a few opportunities to really take these challenges and run with them.
Okay, thank you for that. So a sort of variety of different things that would need to be done to help you in terms of sort of clarification, funding and such like. I mean, what realistically can be done to help you to meet the various challenges that you've outlined?
It's a good question, David. I think for me, member-led member-led organisations like Assist, like APSI, like the PSC, we all have a huge role to play in this. Our committee at Assist have a number of working groups who are all volunteers and are working behind the scenes on best practice guides, lobbying to government, both nationally and the Scottish Government, At the moment, for example, we are working on best practice guides for universal free school meal delivery, and it's been really useful to pull from strands such as the project down in London, looking at Wales, looking at Northern Ireland, and pulling all that information into a best practice guide. And we hope to also share that across other devolved nations. Similarly, we are working with our supply chain partners at the moment and Scotland Excel, our procurement body, to look at deposit return schemes. So we're keen that we involve the supply chain in our discussions, because there may be creative solutions or adaptations that we've not thought about that make our lives hopefully slightly easier. So I think touching upon our supply chain as well, I think they have a huge role to play in this as well. You know, innovations in the market, so, you know, things that will help us with the labour challenges that we have, the use of technology, cooking technology, more modern equipment, dynamic procurement as well. That's going to play a huge role in the future of procurement for local authorities. So I think there's a number of strands there, you know, touching upon the recruitment challenges. I think we need to, again, double down our efforts and advertise and market, I suppose, a career map, not just necessarily in local authority catering, but across the whole public sector. You know, if you were to start a career in public sector, where could you go? And I think that's not us just being individuals and saying, well, we want to keep them within a local authority. Actually, there are care homes, there are, you know, there's schools, there's prisons, there's the NHS. And I think we need to do a better job of signposting that career map. So I think there's a few a few different pieces there that we're needing to try and move things forward.
Yeah, definitely. So you talked to sort of a little bit about sort of collaboration, working with the supply chain and things like that. What are the best ways, do you think, of sort of bringing all the parties together to work together with a sort of a single purpose, if you like?
I think we have all got a role in leaders of you know, the member organisations that make up the Public Sector Catering Alliance to collaborate and to fly the flag for our services. So I definitely think collective working, a single voice to both national government and central government is really crucial. And I think we can see where we have put forward a single voice, you know, all aiming for the same thing. We can see real results and inroads already coming through, talking as a collective. So I think for me, the best way forward for us is not to go back to this siloed approach, which we've all been and heard of in the past, and to open our doors and to share, I suppose, the good, bad and ugly as well. You know, there is things that we would share that haven't worked, and I think that is equally as important as sharing the things that have worked well.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, you've outlined several sort of significant issues that you and your members face. Is there sort of one particular measure that you would like to see coming, whether it's from sort of UK government or the Scottish government, that would do the most to help you and your members manage right now?
I think really the most time critical piece of information that we probably would like back from the Scottish government at the moment is around the deposit return scheme. You know, is a real concern for members, not only from a financial element of providing the service, but also from a pupil equity perspective in terms of those in receipt of free school meals. And Assist FM members have been, you know, really banging the door to say this is a real challenge for local authorities to adopt that within an educational setting. And unfortunately, at the moment, we're not getting the traction that we need to take that forward. So what my hope is with the new First Minister to be announced in the coming weeks in Scotland is that we will get an opportunity to have some real conversations about the challenges, and B, that we are committed to delivering this, but it needs to be done in a sensible approach. So I think we are all waiting with bated breath here in Scotland to see what the next few weeks hold. And hopefully we will continue the strong engagement that we've had with the Scottish Government under the new leadership.
Okay, I think that bated breath is shared in the other 4 nations, because they've all got their own schemes that'll be following on, and they're watching Scotland very closely right now. And that sort of brings me on to a point about collaboration, and not just organisations within the 4 nations, but across the different sectors of public sector. How important is that sort of conversation, that sense of community among such operators as yourself?
I don't think we can underestimate the importance of that, David. I really don't think we can. Certainly, having come into the public sector from the private sector, I've really been blown away by the collaboration that exists, not just amongst local authorities through Assist, but all the organisations, you know, the NHS, the prison service. You know, we have had and hope to continue to foster really strong links with all these organisations. And I think it's only through that, you know, we're not in competition with each other. And it's only through that collaboration that I think we can move services forward. You know, I think what has been interesting in this video series is that on the whole, most of the members are saying the same thing. You know, most of the chairs of organisations are saying the same thing. We're all dealing with similar challenges, and I think through that collaboration we can take things forward together. So for me personally, it's been a godsend having such strong links, and I think we just need to continue to foster that going forward.
Okay, and just finally, the question I've been putting to everyone I've talked to in this little series, and that's really, do you see any reasons for optimism looking ahead?
Definitely. You know, I've outlined a lot of challenges, but I am a glass full kind of chap. So I think what shows real promise for us here in Scotland is universal free school meals, and that commitment from the Scottish Government to delivering it. I think what we are seeing now is that school food has never been more prominent than it is today. You know, we can see that in the media, we can see that behind the work of all 4 nations to promote and campaign towards a universal provision. We can see it in the growing importance of school meals and school meal service during the cost of living crisis that we're in at the moment. And that's reflected, probably the best, I always say the best reflection is the number of awards that are available for school foods reflect public appetite on you know, the importance of it. And year on year, that awards pool has grown and grown and grown. So I think that fundamentally, you know, gives me great hope for the future going forward. I think in Scotland, we are, you know, all working towards Good Food Nation Act, which will be delivered over the next 2 years. And again, that strengthens the sustainability element of our supply chains. It really promotes working with local SMEs and the local economy to really ensure that spend is spent wisely across the public sector. And not just spend, but also what we do for that local economy in terms of job creation, wealth building, etc. So that is something that members are really getting their teeth behind and looking to move forward. And it also helps us with and to justify some of the budget challenges and some of the reasons that we are saying, actually, I don't think we can make cuts to this type of procurement because of the economical benefits. So there are a lot of green shoots, I would say, David, a lot of challenges, and you know, we spoke about that, but I do believe there's a lot of green shoots coming forward in the next 12 to 18 months.
That's good to hear. Christopher Ross, thank you very much.
Thank you.